Hey everyone, I'm Alex and welcome back to another episode of Outdoor Hospitality Weekly. I'm from Roll Campgrounds and today I am going solo as we wrap up the end of this season. Adam and Matt are busy holding down the fort at some of our parks as it's Columbus Day weekend coming up, and we know that it's a really busy end of the season as it is for you all out there. But today, I really wanted to take some time and dive into the topic of marketing. My background for many years as I've been in the industry has been solely focused on on-set operations and marketing and how to improve that and really leverage that to take advantage of some great effects at your campground. This season is really starting to wind down, and many owners make a crucial mistake thinking that, it's a time to take a break from the marketing, from running their parks. We know how it is. I know how it is as a campground manager for many years. You're tired. This is your time to relax and rest and recharge. After all, there's a lot less activity happening, but here's the thing that you need to really pay attention to. What you do now in the off season is really what sets the stage for next season and the success that you can have with your campers. Many park owners, as you know, out there really take time off, and they're not doing anything between when they close and maybe a few weeks or a couple months as February and March come around as you get into next year. So today we're really going to dive into busting one of the biggest myths when it comes to campground marketing, and that's the idea that off-season marketing doesn't matter, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So, I think a lot of times the biggest barrier that I've run into is thinking that it's too hard, it's too complicated, that, you know what, Alex, I really deserve a break after putting in all this effort. What network benefits could I really be getting from doing this? And I think, if you boil it down to a couple key things that if you take anything away from this video to focus your attention on, this would be it. And really it comes down to A, it doesn't have to be complicated. B, focus on the things that you look at as a consumer, right? What the creative looks like. So that's basically a fancy term for how are the photos? How are the videos? What are the actual things that people are consuming? The copy or the written text that goes along with a posting on social media or that accompanies a couple of photos on your website. How is that? Does it need updated? How does it sound? When you read that, are you excited to go camping and make those reservations for next year? If you're not, then that really lets you know that it's something that you need to address and that you really could be getting much more business if you spent a little bit of time with that. Have some different people read over it. Ask maybe some close seasonal campers that you have, what do I need to tweak? Does this really sound like the park experience that we just delivered last year? Would you be excited to come and camp here if you read that? Right? Get other people's opinions on it. A lot of times we can get so consumed in the business as park owners and operators in the operation, and we forget a lot about that. In how that's like, right? We love our business. We put a lot of time and work and attention in that. But it's really not something that we've spent a lot of thought thinking about what that experience is like as a customer and whether or not the real passion and the way in which people are viewing our park is accurate. And we're really getting the most bang for our buck with that. So, I think that's a lot of it. When you think about a targeted email campaign, posting on social media, really freshening up your website, adding your new rates, maybe it's your themed activities for next year, that really in itself can make all the difference. If you think about the work that you've done in season with your guest, it's a relationship. And we're in the outdoor hospitality business for a reason. I know Matt and Adam and I, we like to harp on that because I think so many operators, and even if you're an investor out there too listening to this, who's trying to get a better handle on, hey, I'm about to take over a park and what am I going to do with this marketing? I'm going to try and get some cash reserves set aside or recognize a lot of that seasonal income early. It's something that we like to hit on because I think that gets lost in that. And that you've built all these relationships. And then the off season comes and you're almost letting that go. All that great work that you did over the season, and people forget about that. And somebody else who's done a better job of building that relationship or staying top of mind gets that guest and actually ends up converting them, even if you did everything right during the season. Until you start to establish that rhythm with somebody where they come once and again and it becomes a yearly tradition, you still have to keep winning that guest over and over. And I'll take a reference from the restaurant world, that it typically takes 3 to 4 times of flawless experiences when you go to visit a restaurant before that becomes a part of your regular rotation, where you're going there on a whatever that semi-annual regular basis looks like for you. I think the same holds true for campgrounds, where you've got to do the legwork, building the relationship, doing all of the marketing, all of the right things, until that habit becomes ingrained and where you just automatically become top of mind for people. So again, it doesn't have to be complicated, but ensure that you're not going silent. You don't need a big budget. I'm not asking you to spend a ton of money on ads. You don't need really any complicated tools. Social media platforms have dedicated editors and publishing tools in there where you can schedule this all out months and months and months at a time. Email, same thing. You can build out email campaigns and send one to people at Thanksgiving, send one at Christmas, right? Have some rhythm going, and a simple email just to remind them about purchasing gift cards for the holidays, or what your seasonal sites look like for next year. What availability do you have? Even just what your park looks like covered in snow, right? All of these small efforts and things go a long way. And to anybody who's an RVer listening, an investor listening from the outside looking into this space, this may sound obvious, but we know as consumers and campers that it works, and that we like to be reminded of that. We like to see progress and updates. I mean, humans are naturally curious creatures. And so doing things that spark that curiosity and continue to establish that relationship and just stay connected, it matters a lot. And so really, I think this is well timed for coming up to Columbus Day weekend. Everybody's about to sort of relax finally, right? But by investing in your marketing now and getting that plan in place before the off season, you're really doing everything you can to ensure success in the spring. You're not going to be starting from scratch. You're going to be well ahead of your competitors at that time. And it's really going to set yourself up for success moving forward. So I'm going to plan to do a lot more videos talking about some more marketing topics one-on-one and go deep into some of these categories. If you're like, Alex, I don't even know how to get started, I would say, again, find something you're comfortable with. Do you like to write? Do you like to take photos? Have you been updating the website? Do you have somebody, a website guy, a developer, an agency, another group that you use to work with, right? I'm doing all of this now internally at Roll. We're going through a process of updating all of our websites and really redefining what our social media strategy looks like and beginning to put all of this stuff in motion, right? And the sooner the better we do all of this, the more that we can do market testing. So all of that is important. And with social media today, with the way that the websites are today, it doesn't take a lot of work for you to actually see what's called the analytics of it, right? And really a fancy term for the data and understanding what happened with a lot of these tools. You're getting all of that information for free now from a lot of these platforms. And so it allows you to do testing where you can figure out how people respond to things. You can put out themed weekend ideas or activities you want to float for next year on social media and see how your guests react. Hey, what do you think about this Wild Wild West weekend? And if people are thrilled about it, again, it's a great market test. Putting out as much as you can and having conversation and finding ways to get people engaged. That's really what's important right now. And again, I think as an investor too, if you're somebody who is listening to this, it's a great way to learn. If you're coming into your campground and really working with somebody, whether that's, an outside contractor, you have a marketing team on staff, you're using a management company like someone in the industry, right? It's a way that you can, again, begin to get test and confirmation data of what's been working, what are people receptive to, and floating those things now before you're really in the crucial season where you kind of have to dial things in and stay on a nice, consistent path where there's just less flexibility for change, less time for experimentation, right? You're worried about delivering the experience for the guest once they get there in season. It's that in-person hospitality. Well, now in the off season, it's really that off season hospitality where you're turning the listening on and you're putting out photos and text that's interesting and that you're able to get that feedback. And again, the sooner the better. It allows you to make better decision making when it comes to maybe it's a new amenity that you want to float and let people choose. Hey, we're thinking between these couple things of putting in. What would you like to see if we had to spend money on something, right? It's a great way to get confirmation from your campers before you spend money as reservations come in so you can gauge pacing and figure out what rates need to look like, right? It's a really great time to do that now. And so I would just challenge everyone, don't let the myth of, there's no need for marketing or, man, marketing is really easy. I just get customers that come anyways via word of mouth, that everybody just already books for next year. We found that wasn't really true in 2024, that actually transient demand may be down in some areas. And maybe you felt that. There are some parks that are really well positioned and that had a fantastic season. But I know there are a lot of park owners out there who, frankly, had an okay season. Maybe it was flat. Maybe you were slightly down. And so I think this, again, sort of refocuses that need for marketing and the myth that it's really easy. It's not. Marketing it can be complicated, but the steps that you're taking, especially in the off season, to learn and to listen, it's really what'll set you up for success moving forward. So I'll just challenge everybody, take a few small steps now, and you'll sort of see that it's simpler than what you think. Just get started. I'll say that you can post something and 3 months later, if you don't like it, go back and delete it. It's really, it's something that you can experiment with and try along the way. But unless you're actively participating in the conversation and you're doing so on a regular basis that keeps you top of mind, you're really not going to get a lot of those benefits like you should. Your marketing is not a seasonal activity that should correspond with the dates that you're open. It's really something that's year round, that keeps your campground thriving, even in those quiet months. You could be selling holiday stays, gift cards, getting feedback from people, developing your strategies and learning in preparation for next year. These are all things that can be done really to enhance that off-season marketing strategy and really positions you for success moving forward. So this one's going to be a little bit shorter than what it was probably normally our regular podcast, but I hope you found this conversation valuable with a little bit of insight from what it's like as somebody who has been a GM and really understands and has seen the importance of off-season marketing on getting that revenue in the door and really setting yourself up for success for the following year. So we will come back and I will participate in some more in-depth marketing conversations that will hopefully help you level up your game and position your park for success moving forward. As always, if you enjoyed the show, we would encourage you to share it with a friend or another park owner who may find this information valuable. And as always, we will see you back here next Friday for another great episode with all the guys back in action. All right, thanks everyone. Hope you have a fantastic close of the year and an amazing start to the off season. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next time.